Black Talk Radio News Brief is brought to you today by Daily Web Deals, a daily feature on the front page of BlackTalkRadioNetwork.com. You can have a Disney World vacation for a fraction of what others pay. You don't have to be rich to have an extravagant Disney World vacation. See the Daily Web Deals section for more information or visit www.dailywebdeals.blogspot.com. The San Francisco Chronicle reports that a state can prohibit felons from voting, even if the ban disproportionately harms minorities, a federal appeals court ruled Thursday in a Washington state case that supports a similar law in California. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco overturned a 2-1 decision by one of its panels in January 2010 that struck down a Washington law that bans felons from voting in elections. The panel had struck down the law on the grounds that the state's criminal justice system was racially biased. The 2-1 ruling had found that minorities were more likely than whites to be searched, arrested, detained, and ultimately prosecuted, and that racial disparities could not be explained by differences in crime rates between ethnic groups. The ruling, which was the first of its kind in the nation, would have allowed prisoners as well as those currently on parole to vote in the state of Washington. It could have invalidated similar laws in 8 other states in the circuit, which includes the state of California, if the courts found that a system of arresting and prosecuting suspects was racially skewed. In the state of California alone, 283,000 felons in prison or on parole cannot vote, according to a report issued by the Sentencing Project. The Sentencing Project, which is led by Executive Director Marc Mauer, who is recognized as a leading expert on sentencing policy, race, and the criminal justice system, estimated that 5.3 million Americans are denied the right to vote because of laws that prohibit voting by people with felony convictions. It further states that felony disenfranchisement is an obstacle to participation in democratic life, which is exacerbated by racial disparities in the criminal justice system. This has resulted in an estimated 13% of black men being unable to cast a vote. A 6-judge majority noted that other appeals courts have concluded that federal civil rights laws do not apply to a state's disqualification of felons from voting. The judges said that to challenge the ban under the Voting Rights Act, inmates will have to demonstrate intentional discrimination in the state's criminal justice system, not just a disparity in the racial makeup of the prison population. The suit against Washington's laws was filed by Mohammed Shabazz Farrakhan, and 5 other inmates, all considered racial minorities, joined the suit as plaintiffs against the state. They argued the voting ban results in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race, and thus violated the Voting Rights Act, according to the Seattle Times. The inmates were represented by the Gonzaga Center for Law and Justice. The Pacific Legal Foundation, a nonprofit law firm based in Sacramento, California, filed arguments in the case supporting the voting disenfranchisement of felons in the state of Washington. The Pacific Legal Foundation is described as the oldest conservative law firm in the United States, and its staff was originally composed mainly of individuals who had been part of then Governor Ronald Reagan's welfare reform team. According to OnTheIssues.org, under Reagan, poverty exploded in the inner cities of America, claiming children as its principal victims. The reason for this suffering was that programs targeted to low-income families, such as AFDC, were cut back far more than programs such as Social Security. As a result of cuts in such targeted programs, including school lunches and subsidized housing, federal benefit programs for households with incomes of less than $10,000 per year declined nearly 8% during Reagan's first term as president, while federal aid for households with more than $40,000 per year in income was almost unchanged. For more information on this story, go to the blog section of BlackTalkRadioNetwork.com. Black Talk Radio News Brief is a Black Talk Media Project production, a nonprofit encouraging new media production and collaboration among independent black media producers. Make a donation today at blacktalkmediaproject.org.